is therefore suitable for general viewing.
Rise, shine, for thy light has come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon you. The glory of a thing is expressed when that thing fully maximizes its potential. And this is a glorious hour for this nation here in Kenya. And I'm happy to be a part of watching Kenya arising. The G7s and G20s has recognized Kenya as an emerging market. And this is the best time this season, right now, for Kenya to show the world who she really is. And I'm happy to be a part of it. Stay tuned.
Indeed, indeed. The words of Dr. Cindy Trim. My goodness, if this is not Inspiration Thursday, I don't know what is. Let me tell you a little bit about a week-long series of events. She's in town to take part in it, and under a theme called Going Deeper. That's right, I always forget. Going Deeper. Women's empowerment. You need to listen up today. Tell somebody who knows somebody who knows someone, because tonight's show is truly going to be inspiring. We're going to be joined very shortly by a young gentleman by the name of Soni Badu, from Ghana originally, living in the UK. You're going to love his music. But for now, this lady, you need to hear her story. At the age of 30, she was the youngest senator ever in the history of Bermuda, and was being touted to become the country's prime minister. She said, you know what? I have a higher calling. And she went on to form Trim International. She motivates, she preaches, she talks around the world. She's right now based in Atlanta, Georgia, comes to Kenya very often because she has worships. Listen up, Kenya. This is a show for all of you who need a little bit of inspiration. 3 years almost to the date, Dr. Cindy Trim comes back to the bench. Isn't it?
Oh, yes. And
Almost
I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Good to see you.
Yes, it's good to see you.
You look great, by the way.
You look greater. Greatness knows how to recognize greatness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't feel it, but thank you.
Yeah, you look it though.
I just want to let you all know we have a live audience. You can see the room packed. Standing room only. All three of them. But it's okay, it's full. I'm kidding. Dr. Could
now,
yeah,
with all the gold medals that she's
oh,
winning
look at
in
that.
Beijing.
This past week.
Oh, yes.
What a week for us.
For Kenya,
Yeah.
and I'm very excited about it because it just is a testimony of the potential that lies right here in this nation.
Absolutely. A couple of weeks ago, President Barack Obama coming home, if you will.
Absolutely.
Wasn't that a great sign as well?
Oh, absolutely. When you find that the greatest man on the earth right now, President Barack Obama, shows up at the most powerful country right now in the world, that means that the anointing runs down, and Kenya has the opportunity to distinguish her own brand and to sweat the equity therein.
Do you think we get it though, Dr. Trim? Do you think we understand how positioned we are, if you will, for greatness as Kenyans?
I think sometimes you need someone for you who you are, and this is what makes relationships so important, that the people that are around you for you who you are, and this is what makes relationships so important, that the people that are around you should reflect who you are. And I think that's one of the reasons why I find it such a blessing to be here during this season of Kenya's history. We get a chance together to leave a legacy and then also to change our destiny. And this is the generation that does it. We are on the shoulders of other individuals and leaders that went before us. And this world is as it is because to believe that they could do something different. And so they pushed the envelopes. They went out on the limb. And we should be doing the same. Not just for this generation, but a generation that's unborn to time.
Yeah. Your theme this week is called Going Deeper.
Yes.
Empowering women.
Yeah.
Something that we need in Kenya. We have a lot of issues.
Yeah. I think, you know, a lot of times when we look at science, and particularly as it relates to the progress of humanity, we believe that the last great frontier to explore is outer space. But it's not. The last great frontier to explore is inner space. And the true wealth of any nation is hidden within the loins, the minds, the hearts of its citizenry. And we just have to figure out a way to build capacity in the workforce and in our citizenry so that together we put our hands to the table and we plow together to make Kenya a brighter place, a more beautiful place. And I believe like a diamond it can shine, leading the way of all of the other African nations.
Yeah. When you're in Atlanta, when you're preaching, when you're there, and of course you've experienced this side of the pond, and you read the story, terrorism attacks, you know, young university kids being killed up north, a mall being attacked, and 70 odd people being killed. How does that make you feel when you're out there?
Well, for me, it's just a cry of humanity. It's a cry to be able to say that there's a leadership gap. And if we can fill that gap, I think that we can squelch some of because in all of us, there's a desire to see a model put on the table so that we know what we should be doing. And so I think it's a cry for leadership. And if we could fill that leadership gap, it does take a person audacious. You know, I look at Mandela after 27 years of being in prison. You know, how audacious was he to believe that he can come out as an ex-convict and then to become the president of his country. There's something great on the inside of us. It has to be unearthed. And all of the problems that we see is really a call to that deep thing on the inside of us. And we all are problem solvers. We carry it on the inside. I think culture has put lids on us, or we've allowed culture to put lids on us. We've allowed our own mistakes to set up limitations. But a person can understand that there are no limitations and no lids, just the ones construct in our mind. And then when we stop constructing these lids in our mind, there will be no lids or limitation in time.
Let's take it a step further. I mean, you see the world is literally becoming more and more violent. ISIS or ISIL, whatever they want to call themselves. And then you find people going out of their way to join them in their jihad, in their creation of a caliphate, whatever it is that they want to do, but creating violence out there. Are we becoming a more violent world?
I don't think that we're becoming more violent per se. I think social media is promoting what we haven't been able to see in the past. Just yesterday in the United States of America, live, you had a shooting, and it went viral. It's only because social media now is available, we're able to shoot it. Violence since the Garden of Eden, when there were two people and one slew the other. So violence and nothing new. It's you have people who believe that they have to compete with someone else, or there's a limited resources or limited power, you see that kind of activity. But it's ignorance and fear that is driving it. And the thing that can eradicate fear and eradicate the things that we're seeing now is hope. And someone has to stand up with a message of hope and be bold enough to be able to say, look, being human is not tantamount with being flawed, because God created us in his image after his likeness. So he created us to be fabulous. And if we could speak to the good that exists in all of us. When you see ISIS believe that they're doing good. Mm-hmm. They really do. And that's the problem that you have with deception. And I believe that it starts with a recognition that we're all created equal but opposite and different. And each one of us, irrespective of our color, our race, irrespective of our beliefs, we need all hands on deck. And to kill another is to kill yourself. Yeah. To sabotage another is to sabotage yourself, because we're the family. We're a family. We're human beings. We're being human, yes, but to be human, the more human you are, the more good you are.
Yeah, but you all you all people who preach. When you look at, and I'm glad you mentioned social media, because every other day we see on social media ISIS decapitating people. Mm-hmm. And these are the most watched videos. Mm-hmm. That killing yesterday, the journalist killing his colleagues, ex-colleagues, it went viral, like you said. What is it about us glorifying violence in this day and age?
I think we need something. People want to be seen. I think it's a human appetite. And there are 9 human appetites. And two of them is very important. One is relevance, the other is significance. People want to be heard, they want to be seen, and a lot of people are frustrated because they lack an understanding of purpose and assignment. And not all of us are meant to be out front. There are some who have purpose at grassroots level, or even when I think about women and men who become fathers and mothers. We don't know the name of Albert Einstein's mother or father, but he had to have someone that nurtured his gifts and his talents, which he later gave to the world. And so our significance doesn't always have to be front and center stage. There are those that have to play a role behind the scenes. And we may not, in our generation, see the change that we want. That means that we do have a responsibility for the next generation and to talk about these spiritual issues. And when you talk about murder, and when you talk about hate, and you talk about violence and morality, those are spiritual. And we're afraid to talk about spirituality because we somehow believe that it's tantamount to talking about religion. But religion and spirituality is two different two different conversations. When I got rid of religion, I found God. And I wanted to make a difference in this world. And Christianity, to me, is about gaining a life strategy. It has nothing to do with religion. And I don't know why we feel as if we have to be forced in some sort of box that someone wants us to think outside of, when we have the opportunity given to us through innovation to create a new box and to create something that requires us to respect one another, honor one another, and to see the goodness in all of us. Yeah. And so for me, I decided many years ago, I didn't want to be one to describe problems. I wanted to be one to bring solutions to the table. And that's why I formed TRIM International, Human Development Technologies. How do we bring the best out of human beings? How do we get the best out of our countries? How do we get the best out of our citizens? How do we get the best out of government? Even in terms of businesses. Businesses are very important. Capitalism is very important. You know, you can solve the problems of unemployment when someone becomes a business owner and hires someone. And so there's a lot that we can do. And to focus on something that you don't want to see is to fuel it until it's replicated in the future.
Is it working?
So
is it working what
absolutely.
you want?
So you want to focus on what you want and put your energies there. And I think that we can bring an alternative to the table. Sure.
You remind me a lot of Dr. Miles Monroe, you know that?
A good friend and colleague of mine. Friend and colleague. In fact, he one of my books.
God rest his soul.
Yes.
Books?
I think I'm right about at 30 now.
I've written, well, I'll tell you
Some of us have to write more. In one book, what I did in 30.
Oh, please. Oh, you're good. You want to stay? You want to stay? Next week you're going to be on the show?
Oh, absolutely.
Every week you can come out.
Absolutely.
Every week.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a break, come back. We're going to be joined by Sony Badu.
Yes.
And then we'll talk some more. Let's get into this whole spiritual realm that you talk about.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Thank you.
I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
I'm inspired.
Yes.
It's Inspiration Thursday. Dr. Cindy Trim is in the house. We're going to be joined by Sony award-winning gospel. In a short moment, we're talking about inspiring a nation. Dr. Cindy Trim says, this is our moment. This is our window. Don't let it close. Let's take advantage of the opportunities and the goodwill that we have right now. Live, coming to you literally in front of a live audience at the Intercontinental Hotel. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
Gavana Sospita Ojamonga, Gavana wa Bungoma, Gavana wa Nyamira, Seneta wa Kilifi. Mgeni wangu studioni ni Ababu na